Welcome to another episode of the Rankum Podcast. Thanks for having us on, wherever it is, however it is you've got us. We appreciate it. I'm Garrett Seawright. You can find me on Twitter at Garrett Seawright. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Rankum Podcast. We are wherever it is you download your podcasts or watch your videos. And we thank you for having us on. Joining me as always, co-host Don Garwood.
What's up, everybody?
So Don is not nearly as passionate or I guess fearful as I am. Today we're going to rank animals that we're afraid of. And this is 100% my idea, and it's because maybe I'm just a little scaredy cat. I don't know, but Don's like, I'll fight a lion right now. Give me a paper clip and a rubber band, and I'll fight a lion. Like, oh, that's weird. Okay. Some
and
folks,
a beer.
Some folks just don't fear death, apparently. You're a monster. So we are going to rank animals that we're afraid of. I imagine we're going to have a little different lists because I'm not afraid of, like, super predators because there's just not a situation where I'm driving down 75 and there's a cheetah running alongside the car. Like, I'm going to get you. Okay, that's good.
But there might be like a ladybug inside your car while you're driving.
Right.
And maybe that's what you're afraid of.
That could freak me out. So I will start our list off with my number 5. And my number 5 is turtles. And not like, like turtles that you keep in a glass case in your house. I'm talking like alligator snapping turtles. That you just don't like. They live in that murky water that you can't see nothing. So alligator, there's videos of them they'll snap a whole watermelon in half and stuff. And if I'm in some sort of murky water, I'm probably at least half of my body under that water. And I imagine I'm a little easier to chew up than a watermelon. I have to think.
Well,
I haven't seen the videos of them putting a cadaver in an alligator snapping turtle's mouth, but I imagine I don't want to see it because I've seen what he does to that watermelon.
Have you ever seen a alligator snapping turtle in real life?
Not in the wild, no. Like I've seen bigger turtles in the wild that okay, I don't want to mess with that guy.
So
they freak me out, even though they're slow and.
They have a alligator snapping turtle at the Bass Pro Shops in Springfield, Missouri, which I used to go there. I've been there a couple times when my dad lived in Missouri. But they have an alligator snapping turtle in the aquarium there, and it's freaking massive. So, and I pulled it up to get the actual stats on it. So, in 2010, it was estimated to be over 75 years old. It measured 65.7 centimeters along the shell, which I don't know how big that is in inches.
I'm American, so...
let's find that out. 65 centimeters to inches it's about 25 and a half inches.
So it's 2 foot long. On the shell. The shell is 2 foot long.
Right. And then it weighs 185 pounds. 10 years ago, it weighed 185 pounds. And it's massive.
It's like that's a chonky boy. That's a chonky boy.
Because you could go right up to the aquarium it was in, and you just see it sitting there, and its head was half the size of mine or bigger.
Did it ever look like it was in a good mood? No, no, it did not. They're never just like, oh, look at me, I'm a happy alligator snapping turtle. No, they're always angry. All right, it's like an animal could be Gary Busey. That's an alligator snapping turtle. So
just the alligator snapping turtle has resting bitch face.
Yes. So,
gotcha.
Alligator snapping turtles freak me out. Don't want to be anywhere near them. Give me away. It's one of the probably few animals that I could get away from. So that's nice. I appreciate God.
Not in the water.
I appreciate God on that one. You're right. If I'm in the water and I have an alligator snapping turtle, we're in trouble. But they freak me out. So that is my number 5.
So, my number 5 is also aquatic, but I put down here any fish with teeth.
Yeah.
And very specifically, the two fish that I'm talking about are like pike,
right,
and gar.
I was getting
And they have like alligator gar, which when you put alligator in front of anything, whether it's an alligator snapping turtle or an alligator gar, it's not because they're
cuddly.
they have a normal sized Abdullah oblongata.
Right.
Like none of these fish or turtles have a toothbrush to brush all those teeth.
All those teeths.
And in that same place, Bass Pro Shops in Springfield, Missouri, they have an alligator gar, or it states that alligator gars can go up to 10 feet and weigh 350 to 450 or 400 pounds.
That's ridiculous.
And
it's got teeth.
Right. So fish with teeth bother me, and
well, like you're not gonna be.
They're not gonna bite me.
Well, but you're like so you said
can't, chew.
Gar, pike, etc. Like you're not gonna be in a situation where you're dealing with a piranha or something.
I mean, we had pet piranhas our freshman year of college. I did deal with piranha. But they were pussies because I just stuck my hand in the tank because we had the Gatorade bottle full of coins in their fish tank.
Well,
and then you could just reach your hand in and grab it, but nobody else would do it.
So I guess you would then voluntarily be interacting with the piranha. Like, I'm thinking more of like, oh, I'm off for a nice stroll through the woods. Oh my God, is that an alligator snapping turtle?
Right.
Not just.
Let me just walk away. But
you could be swimming in some northern lake or something, and there's a pike that's like, that looks tasty. Now.
Right, but I mean, those fish like don't eat things that are bigger than their mouth.
Right. But again, you would prefer to not interact with that.
I don't want my toesies bitten off by fish with teeth.
Correct.
So that's my number 5.
That's good looking out. I don't want my toesies bitten off by fish with teeth. That ends my aquatic fears.
So I'll transition us to terrestrial animals then. At my number 4, I have cows on here, but specifically cows / a bull.
Right.
Like a bull with a bunch of cows, I'm not a fan of. Again, when I was in Missouri, some of the places I would go had like livestock, like cows and bulls that were kind of free range out in the wilderness. And sometimes you'd have to like walk through the cows to get them like through a gate and stuff like that. And that was always terrifying to me when the cows would just look at you and
with their cow faces,
with their cow face, like with their dumb blank stares. And all of them, I'm like 12 at the time, haven't done a lot of messing with cows, and they just kind of stare at you, and you both know that they could run you over, but then you piss them off, and then the bull starts coming over to you. No.
Right, because
that's terrifying.
Those are his ladies.
Yes,
those are his ladies.
Yeah, those are his kids. Those are his ladies, and I'm just making a bunch of ruckus trying to get them in through this gate. I'm not a fan.
And he knows he's got all the power in this.
Right, he's swinging that big dick.
I've always like the amount of people who have like do the running with the bulls on their bucket list. Like, no, nope, because that's how you end up on YouTube.
Or the
right there,
the rodeo. At the state line that they do the bull poker or whatever. They sit at a poker table, play poker, and then the bull comes and like
and the last person leave their seat.
Right.
Nope.
No. Why?
Absolutely no.
Why would I want to do that?
Nope. Yeah, I like if I'm looking to get a rush, I'll just start doing heroin or something.
So that the tens of people in attendance can cheer me.
Like just people just think you're a Billy Hart ass because you sat in the chair the longest as everyone else in the arena was mauled and gored. No, that doesn't sound like a good time to me. My number 4 is very incredibly hypocritical because I've mentioned that, you're never going to come in contact with piranhas or lions. My number 4 is kangaroos. They freak me out so bad. Like they look like they're cute and cuddly. They're not. They got talons. They got that pouch that everyone's like, oh, kangaroos keep their joeys in their pouch. Yeah, but it's all filled with goop and stuff. It's real weird. They get to be giants. They can pounce around, like you just bounce around, and they go so fast. You got no chance against kangaroos. If the kangaroos ever became aware that they could take us all down, we're in trouble. They freak me out.
So kangaroos are just the deer of Australia.
I get that, but man,
I think kangaroos outnumber Australians by
it's
quite
like,
a bit.
I would say it's like 8-1 or something
Right.
like that. Because I saw somebody was like, they outnumber Australians 8-1. Australians, do you think you could take eight kangaroos? Like if they ever they ever got sense about them and they tried to take over, do you think you could do your part and take your 8 out? And people are like, no, absolutely not.
There was one that I saw. I've seen a couple videos of kangaroos fighting. Obviously, other than just fighting themselves, I saw a video where
the kangaroo has that dude's dog.
Yes,
and the
so
dude
it has
punches a kangaroo. That kangaroo is ripped.
Right. So first of all, that kangaroo's jacked, and the dog is out. The dog was out there chasing the kangaroo, and it like grabs his vest and is trying to like kill the dog.
Yeah.
And so the guy walks out there and just punches the kangaroo in the face.
Right,
and it just stands there and kind of it shook a little bit.
It gives the whole strong arm for a second.
It took like a standing 6 count on that kangaroo
was there for a second. Like,
did this dude just punch me in the face?
Right, because it's never thinking that it's going to get rocked, and instead it's standing there like, oh man. And the dude gets his dog back and was like, come on, let's go.
And then there's another. I can't remember if it was Dane Cook or it was Daniel Tosh. And in his stand-up, he's looking at Snapple Fact, talking about Snapple Facts, and he's like, kangaroos can't jump backwards. And he's like, if you're ever in a fight with a kangaroo and somebody yells out, just get behind him. See, now Snapple Facts have saved your life.
Right. But, like, have you seen videos of, like, kangaroos fighting each other?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want none of that.
No.
I don't want none of that.
No, that's no holds barred. And
right, yeah.
Those back legs.
They'll get you.
We'll get you. I think they have, like, velociraptor claws on their back legs.
Like story time. When we were in high school, we used to have fight night where we would get some boxing gloves, and we started boxing in our friend's parents' basement, and then we moved eventually we built a boxing ring in my yard at one point, and dudes boxing each other was very slow, very methodical. If you had two girls box each other, it was just a flying tornado of fists. And that is how kangaroos fight, and it terrifies me.
Those fights that we had, the girl fights, were the best fights.
Oh, it was insane because they like
guys were just throwing haymakers and might land one
every once in a while.
But the girls had no defense, and they were just standing in there, haymakers and hooks.
Right, just swinging as hard as they could, as often as they could.
You could always tell when we had a fight night because people would show up to school on Monday with black eyes and cut lips, or a giant unicorn
horn in the middle of their head. But those fights were awesome because they just they didn't understand you might need to pace yourself. So between the rounds took forever because they were so tired. But my God, did they throw so many punches so hard as fast as they could,
right.
And that's what kangaroos look like when they fight. And nope, I'm not into that.
So you won't fight women or kangaroos, is what you're saying.
That's where I draw the line. That's where the line is drawn. So that's my number 4.
I don't have any boxing animal. I don't have any fist fight animals on here.
That's hopefully for the best.
What do you got at 3?
Armadillos, man. They look like they could be almost cuddly even. They just no.
They're just giant roly polies.
Yeah, I get it's just you just roll up in a ball and you're invincible. I can't compete with that, but they just look like something I don't want to touch. I don't know that I'm afraid of it as much. It creeps me out. What are you doing? What's your deal, man? And they don't ever talk back.
Are you a mammal or a reptile?
Right. What exactly are you, first of all? And it looks like it would almost be kind of sticky. I don't like sticky. I don't like Kid Rock looks like he would be kind of sticky.
It is a mammal.
Don't like it. So it's a mammal.
Mm-hmm. Closely related to anteaters and sloths.
So, but like, how does it feel? I don't know anybody who's ever touched an armadillo, and I don't want to know anybody who's touched an armadillo. Get it out of here. Tired of looking at it. No.
They do have long, sticky tongues, similar
Gross.
to anteaters.
Get out of here. So you're basically part frog. You're kind of a frog wearing armor. I'm not into that.
Kinda. And then apparently they have terrible eyesight, and the way they feel is like with tiny hairs on their belly and sides, and that's how they like feel the ground.
That's
and
even
stuff.
creepier. They don't use the lookers God gave them. They've got tiny hairs on their gut. No, thank you.
Pretty much.
No, thank you. So I'm not afraid of it as much as I'm creeped out by it. Get out of here,
But you were
armadillo.
just talking about how you're not going to run into these driving down
I know.
I-75, and then like your
Well, there are
number 3, 4,
armadillos.
and 5, you're not running into any of those in
my
Ohio.
my twos and ones, you absolutely are.
Gotcha.
But
I don't claim to run into my animals like
oh right.
at
But,
any
like,
point in time.
Oh, you're afraid of tigers? Well, no shit. Who isn't outside of Joe Exotic? Like that girl guy he had working for him that got their arm ripped off.
Yeah.
Yes, I am sure that they're probably afraid of tigers too.
Still working there?
Right. Well, it's my fault. Okay.
Shouldn't have put my arm in his mouth.
Well,
yeah.
yeah. That's basically, that's what it all boils down to. Armadillos, get them out of here. That's my number 3.
Gotcha. So my number 3 is very broad. I'm changing it. I'm changing number 3 to number 2.
Okay. What are you dropping?
My new number 3 is pretty much what you had at 5, but I didn't go the route of alligator snapping turtles. I went just snapping turtles. They terrify me. If I go swimming in a pond, if I go canoeing down the lake,
I'm swimming in a pond. I'm swimming in a pond. The pond owner doesn't know that there's a turtle in there, and I'm just chilling out, and then on my boys, because it's a turtle, and crazier things have happened than that, and that doesn't sound like a good Tuesday afternoon to me.
Right.
How did you lose your boys? Got them bit off by a snapping turtle and swimming in a pond.
And there's no getting bit by by a snapping turtle. There's getting something bit off.
Right.
Because like they don't let go when they bite something. Like I know multiple people who are missing fingers because they got them bit off by a snapping turtle when they were younger.
And that doesn't sound like a good time.
No, and like so when they get bit, they just keep biting down and keep that down pressure. Even if you cut their heads off, they keep biting down.
No matter how much you want your hand out of their mouth.
Right.
It's staying in their mouth. No matter how much ripping and tearing you do, you're losing something.
And they have like spikes on their shells, and they get real, real big. So I try not to mess with turtles. I have picked one up on the side of the road when I was driving, and then saw him scurrying around, and I picked him up and threw him in the back of the truck and let him loose in the pond to let him grow a little bit. Because turtles are good eating.
They are good eating. I just thought like you were going to end up like, and then you just went like movie villain on. Like,
no.
I wanted him to grow so we could take over the world together.
We put him in the pond with the intention of eventually like catching him and eating him.
Right.
But I think either somebody else got him, like took him out of the pond, or he just disappeared.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't seen him for like 2 years.
But they're kind of smart too. Like if you catch them and you put them in like I know a lot like people have caught turtles, put them in like a horse trough, and then
they get out.
Put wood and a cinder block over top of it, and they get out. And you're like, how in the hell did you get out of there?
Yep. That's the one that I took home. He got out of the first thing that we put him in.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Turtles, no gusta.
Me neither. What do you got it to?
Snakes. I don't do snakes at all.
Are we on?
We're on 2.
We're on 2.
We're on 2. I don't do snakes. No, And I think it's a kind of like a recent thing. I don't know. When I was a kid, like my grandma hated snakes to the point where like I think my grandpa wanted me to get my ass beat. He's like, take this toy snake into the house to your grandma's. I'm like, okay. One of the only time grandma was like, I hope you die. Okay, thanks, grandma. So I wasn't afraid of like toy snake, but even now toy snakes, nope.
Really?
Yeah, even tiny little garters in your yard, nope. Water snakes, get them the hell out of here. Whether they're big old chunky boys, nope, don't do it. They're all slithery and their scales freak me out.
Snakes don't bother me at all.
See, I thought that's where you were going with your from 3 to 2 was snakes, and I was gonna be like, I thought you were gonna say number 3 snakes. That's my number 2 snakes. No, no, snakes. No, that stupid forked tongue. Yeah,
snakes don't bother me at all. Now I don't want to go and play with a snake.
Like you're not gonna be a snake owner.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna own a snake. But if somebody had a snake and was like, "You want to hold this snake?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I want to hold that snake," and then just kind of let it crawl around my hand and stuff.
Oh, stop it!
And then it kind of constricts, but you're like, "You're not big enough to constrict me."
You can try all you like.
What class did we have snakes in like intermediate school? Was it just science class? Somebody brought snakes in?
I don't remember, but I don't even, like, you go to the zoo and they're like, we've removed his fangs. He can't hurt you. Yes, he can. Get him away. Get him away.
But no, snakes don't bother me. Even, again, Missouri. It's like the wild, wild west out there. There was copperheads and stuff like that walking around, water moccasins. And you just kind of don't go near them. Now, water moccasins will kind of blend in the water. And we were fishing and stuff, but they never bothered me. Almost stepped on a copperhead one time hiking on trails, and then you just kind of veer around it and you're good.
Ugh. No, thank you.
No, don't get me wrong. If I was out walking and I heard like a rattlesnake, I'd freeze in my tracks and retreat. Speaking of, this might go on that list, but I'm not really afraid of it. It's not something. Did you see the video of the dude who got stalked by the mountain lion for like 6 minutes and he's just walking backwards? Like, that's the rawest, like, come on. Don't do that.
Yeah, no. He's like, stop it. Like, there's a couple times he's like, fuck off.
Go back to your babies. Just leave me alone. And then he would like, I think he would like bend down to try and pick up a rock.
See, I thought,
and she'd pounce at him.
I'm like, why aren't you throwing a rock? And then every time that cougar, mountain lion, puma, catamount, whatever you want to call it, it's like, and get the like big arm swings and stuff, like ears pinned back so you can't even see him anymore. Like, oh gosh,
like that.
That would not like. That was 6 minute video that I'm sitting on the couch, like in my shorts and a t-shirt, heart thumping. Like, I can't imagine being in that situation.
Like, the only thing I was thinking of is like, obviously this guy survived. Like they
posted they got the video.
They posted the video, and I think I would have fallen down. Like, he walked up and downhill backwards. Yeah. Like, all those rocks around him.
I'm just waiting for him to trip, fall.
Right.
And he's gone.
That video was crazy.
It's intense.
Same thing, like you see like bears approaching people. Well, I think Jared had posted, one of our friends' brother posted a video of like a bear crossing a footbridge that he was trying to cross. On Facebook,
and he was like
halfway across the bridge, and the bear like starts going across the bridge, so he backs up over the bridge, and the bear ran across.
Even that was like,
right.
Let alone being stalked by a cougar for 6 minutes.
Right. Ugh. So you're number 2.
Snakes,
not cougars.
Not cougars. Snakes.
The animal cougar.
Right.
Cougars aren't on my.
I would love to get stalked by a cougar for 6 minutes. Hello.
So my number 2, which just jumped up ahead of snapping turtles as I was getting ready to say it, I got spiders. In general, spiders.
Not a fan of spiders.
I'll
kill them if I have to.
Like a spider on the wall, I'm not afraid of. A spider on my blanket, yes. A spider in my car, Yes.
Well, have you ever seen that? Like the lady crashed her car because there was a spider. That she opened her visor and a spider came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that. I understand people are judging her. No, I get it completely.
And thankfully, there's not a lot of poisonous spiders where we live.
Right.
I don't know. Do we have the brown recluses here?
Yeah, but not really. Like,
I don't think we don't have black widows here.
No.
So I think like a brown recluse is about the only thing that venomous spiders,
makes
not
you worry.
poisonous. Poisonous is when you eat something. Venomous is when it bites
when
you.
it eats you.
Right.
I feel you
And
though.
tarantulas kind of freak me out. I've never seen one in real life, but I've seen like pictures where people like kind of put their hands beside it and take a picture, and it's like bigger than their hand. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, it's
Or the huntsman spiders and like the Amazon.
The furry ones. There's a reason you've got like. There's a reason you're built for battle. Like, there's a reason you're ready to go.
Ooh.
And I don't. Did you just pull up
I just looked up the huntsman spider, and it was just like the first image is just staring at you.
Yeah,
and I don't have like arachnophobia. Like I'm not crippled in fear when I see a spider.
Right.
But and a lot of them, like if I see them in my house, if they're not in my direct personal space, I understand that they're good for like killing insects.
Right. Like, so if there's one in the corner of the room or whatever, I don't care.
And he's fine.
Like,
But if you're like coming down from the ceiling in front of my face,
yeah, we got problems.
you're gone. If you are scurrying across the mirror or anything like that, if you get in my direct vicinity,
You're going to get it.
right.
So, like, in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the movie, there's all those spiders in the forest, that Aragog in there. That freaks me out.
So my sister has real bad arachnophobia. Have you ever seen the movie Arachnophobia?
I have not.
I recommend it, especially like if you're kind of afraid of spiders. It's a really good like old horror movie,
Right.
that I don't think about as being a horror movie, but it is, and it's really, really, really good.
So that's Don's number 2. Before we started, you do or you do not have honorable mention? Because
I do, because I added fish with teeth, so
Gotcha.
that bumped down something into my honorable mention.
Okay, so my honorable mention is similar to armadillos in that I'm not so much afraid of it as it just creeps me out. But platypuses, you ever seen a platypus? That ain't right. And it being like, I guess I'm just used to, you know the weird kid at school. That's a platypus. You don't know what it's capable of. So it just it just ain't right. And I imagine that it knows it ain't right, so it's got a chip on its shoulder.
Well, and
it's gonna get you.
so they have bills,
Yeah.
webbed feet,
What is that about?
fur.
And then they're just an otter.
I think they're marsupial,
I don't know.
and they have venomous burrs on their legs.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know they got spikies.
Yeah.
So
Perry the platypus, very nice.
no, get it out of here.
If platypuses were blue, platypi,
I think so. Okay, so this came up the other day.
platyplural.
That works too. That like people who say octopuses. So octopuses is correct.
Mm-hmm.
That
Technically, so is deers
right.
and fishes.
That basically that the way language has evolved, that it's fine to say octopuses, or if you want to say octopi, that is also correct, as is octopodes. So if you want to say platypus, platypi, or platypuses,
I think I'm going to say
it all
platyplural. I think from now on, I'm going to refer to them as platyplural.
that's fine. Platyplural.
Hey, there's a family of platyplural over there.
Oh, what? So platypuses, they look weird. They freak me out. Get them out of here. Not about them. So that's my honorable mention.
So before we started, you said, I don't really have any real predators on my list, and these are things that I'm like worried about running into. And then you have like 4 things
Yes.
that you're just never going to see unless you try.
Correct.
Okay.
No, that's all.
Short of them being dead on the road, you going and finding one in real life is very up to you.
Right, well, it's a very unlikely scenario.
So on my honorable mention, and I'm not really afraid of them, but I don't want to, kind of like kangaroos, I don't want to get in a fight with them. I've got raccoons on here.
Oh, they're squirrely, man. They're
Like, I've seen them in traps and stuff like that, and I've seen them, like, in fights with dogs.
yeah, they don't.
And
They're survivors.
I've cornered one before, like, with a golf club in my hand in the garage. Like,
And you're still not sure of your chances.
My chances were very nil. So, like, you can't attack it from one end. You have to, like, push it from one side out of the corner, because I probably wasn't making contact with that golf club. And if I was, it wasn't going to be good enough contact.
I appreciate your, like, your faults. Like, you're like, I know this is not going to go well. So some dudes are cocky, like, I'm going to knock his block off.
It was under a shelf, and the shelf was like 3 feet from the wall. So, like, as I'm, like, jabbing at it with this golf club, if it decides to come to me,
we got problems.
Right.
It's going to run right up that selfie stick.
Right. Yeah, so I've got them on there, and they're very disease.
I would say they're dirty.
Ridden.
You're dirty. You're a dirty animal.
Now, that being said, I tried to raise baby raccoons once, because
there are people who have, like, there's a girl I know who's got a pet raccoon, and, like, what is wrong with you?
They're super cool. They're like cats with hands. And like the raccoons that people raise are super cool, but
they're still dirty.
Hey, not really.
Yeah,
they've been in your house. Is Dio dirty?
Yes.
Oh, well then yes, raccoons are dirty. If your dog is dirty, then yes. But
dirtier than my dog.
That's what I had for my
cats
honorable mention. I also had mice written down. I'm not really afraid of mice, but
see, I'm not.
They just dart places and catch your eye and make you jump.
Right, and you're like, oh, damn it, I got a mouse.
And then, but now I have a cat who has a name.
Oh, Kitty's got a name.
Kitty has an official name. She got named like week 2 of the NFL season. Her name is Freddie Kittens, because she is also disappointing.
I'm glad you think that highly of your cat.
She doesn't let me love her. She lets me touch her like
on
twice
on her time,
on her terms, and then she bites me and scratches me all day long.
Yeah, I think you want a dog, Don.
No, I do, but my dogs don't kill mice when, like, the crops come off.
Yeah, I get you.
But I'm pretty sure the cat's going to, and then, like, drop them in front
of you, like an offering.
Yeah,
I got this for you.
Because she has toy mice, and she, like, puts them in the water dish and the food dish and stuff. So I'm just waiting to wake up to a massacre of mice in, like, the water dish.
I committed mice genocide while you were asleep. You're welcome. The mice thing, like, I don't, like, producer Ashley is just terrified of mice. So we live in the house that she grew up in. When we were dating one time, her dad found a mouse, like, in a cabinet. She slept in her parents' camper for 3 days in the driveway.
Oh, that camper that's just covered in mice, probably?
Right. And I'm like, what sense does that make?
Right.
It's not some sort of apex predator that's going to get you while you sleep. It's a mouse. And it's like there's no logic to it whatsoever. She just was afraid and slept in the camper in the driveway for 3 days. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
But I'm not afraid of mice.
And I married her.
Nice.
But you would prefer to not interact with mice. I get that.
So let's start. Is your number one something that you're going to run into?
Potentially, yes. Like, legitimately.
So mine, I'll start with my number one.
Okay.
I have sharks at number one.
See, I thought sharks, you could legitimately come into contact with a shark.
And so that kind of gives me like 3 aquatic animals in my top 5. If you count snapping turtles as they're semi-aquatic, mostly aquatic.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to differentiate like fish with teeth and make that kind of pike and gars, because sharks were number 1, and they've been number 1 for
forever,
as long as I can remember. My sisters told me there were sharks in the pond when I was little, so that I wouldn't go. That was their way of keeping me away from the pond, right, when they were watching me, so I don't go drown. Was hey, there's sharks in there,
and not because they don't want their brother to die. They just don't want to be held responsible for your death.
Right?
Like, it's okay if he dies, but if it was preventable, so we told him there were sharks in the pond.
So that kind of scarred me for life as a child. I remember having nightmares about swimming in the pond and getting eaten by sharks. And then I've gone to Myrtle Beach a handful of times. Usually don't go out past deep enough to pee in the water.
You're like, I've seen Jaws.
Right.
I know how little water they need.
And then I have been like legitimately swimming in the ocean one time.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a cruise, and we went to Cozumel.
Yeah.
I think we went to like a reef there, and I went swimming in the ocean there, and then saw a couple fishes, and then immediately noped out of there as soon as I saw the sign of life.
Soon as I saw the shark's food,
right,
it's like, nope, that's fine.
I'm so okay. That's always been a fear of mine.
I get that,
sharks,
because that's
and
you could just be out enjoying your afternoon in the ocean. And then there's only a quarter of you left.
And that begs the question, because I don't know the answer. If given the opportunity, would you get in a shark cage? Or go scuba diving with sharks?
Like, I would do the shark cage, I think, until we got like underwater, and then I saw the shark, and I'd be like, you know what? This is a bad idea.
Right.
Should not have done this.
Did you watch Shark Week this year?
I did not.
There was one that Shaq did where he went swimming with like a whale shark, which is like they don't eat people. They eat like krill. And so he kind of went swimming with the whale shark. And I think I could do that, obviously.
Right. But
I'm also low key afraid of the water. Like,
I get that.
So being in water,
you're going into a whole different dojo there,
right?
It's a whole different game.
Having sharks and water, like which are like probably two of my biggest fears, would be a nope from me.
Gotcha.
But at the same time, I don't know if given the opportunity to do it with like a professional,
right?
If I would do it,
somebody who like my mom could sue. In the imminent during my imminent death, somebody is held responsible. If you're just out floating around in the Bahamas on a cruise,
and I don't
hold on when out there and 3/4 of them comes back,
and I don't know what I would rather do. You ever see like the video of them feeding like the lemon sharks or the reef sharks, and there's like 60 of them, but they're just standing there in like these chainmail things and like feeding them on sticks. Right. So they're not even in a cage, but there's like 60 of them. But you don't really have to worry about them like biting you or killing you. Or do I want to be in the cage with like one great white shark?
I think I want the great white.
So do I. Because I think if I'm going to go, I want to go.
Right.
Like,
you want that experience of, like, that's badass.
Jaws.
Right.
How did Don die? Jaws.
Oh.
Not he was swarmed by 60.
Right. He was swarmed to death by 60 little sharks.
So yeah, I got sharks at 1.
Okay, so that's your number 1. My number 1 is bats.
Interesting.
Bats are a huge nope. Nope. I've been playing video game Red Dead Redemption 2. There is a portion where you can go in this cave, and there are all sorts of bats. And in the video game, I left the cave because there were bats. Nope. Absolutely not. Somebody caught a bat at my office a couple years ago, and people on Facebook were like, oh, he's so cute. And I wanted to drive to all of their homes, ring their doorbell, and slap their faces because they thought bats were cute. Are you kidding me? They're rats with wings.
Pigeons are rats with wings.
Bats are rats with wings.
Bats are mice with wings.
They're disgusting. They're hideous. They make horrible noises. They carry diseases. The whole goddamn world shut down because of bats. So I hate them.
Bats don't bother me.
Oh,
like
I
don't want a bat flying around in my house. We've had it before, and you just like tennis racket them, pillowcase them, whatever.
As ridiculous as I made fun of producer Ashley for mice, I would sell this house if there was a bat in it. I will live in a tent in the woods and take my chances with armadillos and kangaroos.
There's bats in the woods, too.
I'll fight them. At least I can go somewhere else. Here, nope, that's it. We're done. Might as well light that room on fire. I'm never going back in there. Ugh.
Bats,
Ugh.
yeah, bats don't bother me. I will tell you a story about a bat, though.
So it freaked a guy named Bruce Wayne out. And
So, once again.
I love Batman. Hate bats. Hate bats.
Once again, maybe you're Batman.
I would love
I've never seen you and Batman in the same place at the same time.
Well, you're spitting the truth.
When I was younger, was in Missouri. All these animal stories are coming back to Missouri.
I was gonna say, do you need to talk to a therapist or something?
So, driving a 4-wheeler at night across the cattle field, and there was 2 of us on the 4-wheeler, and so I was driving, and we were talking, and as I was talking, I had something hit my face, and so a bat, while I was talking, hit my open mouth.
Oh, God.
Because they were flying low over this field to get insects or whatever bats do.
Doing bat stuff. Let's do that bat stuff.
And so in the middle of my conversation, I just get...
You got a mouthful of bat.
Obviously almost wrecked the 4-wheeler.
I would have drove the damn thing into a tree.
But
ended my life right there. Nope, sorry, no coming back from this.
So yeah, I had that happen, and bats still don't bother me, and I don't have rabies as far as I know.
I'm real hot.
It's been 15 years. I haven't got rid of this headache, but I think I'm fine.
I've had a fever for 15 years. Who'd have thunk? Oh God, that story's gonna replace the clowns in my nightmares. So those are the animals we're afraid of. I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about in the reaction show, but we'll figure something out.
Maybe we'll talk about people we're afraid of.
That's fair. So you got that to look forward to. Don, thank you as always.
Mike Tyson kind of scares me.
Oh, he's
he feels like he would snap at any moment.
Yeah, in our trapped in an elevator episode, I talked.
Oh, that's right.
No, thank you. Don's on Twitter at Donnie_G. I am at Garrett C. Wright. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Rank Up Podcast. We are available wherever it is you listen to your podcasts. We thank you for making us a part of your day. We'll catch you next time on the Rank Up Podcast.